Hello and welcome to the SOAPe Platinum Plus e-learning center. Today we're going to be covering the Patients tab, and once we click on this tab we're going to be given several options here. The first screen that you're taken to is the Add New Patient screen, which allows you to enter new patients into the EMR. What you'll notice is that each patient is assigned a unique file number, which is right here. We suggest that you just leave that alone and don't try to enter your own here. So we're going to enter a little bit of data here and create a new patient in the system. And once again, when we come to this email address field, you are going to want to enter an email address for your patient, because this allows you to send automated reminders to your patients about upcoming appointments. So you need to have something entered in here. And of course you can click this button here to add a photo of your patient. But keep in mind the photo needs to be on your PC first, and when you click this you'll be able to browse to it and load it into the patient's profile. Also, if you click the HIPAA agreement information, you'll notice that it's already been checked off by default with today's date. And we have one additional tab, the Employment Information tab, where you can document your new patient's current status, whether they're working, disabled. There's a few options you can add to these menus if you want to define their job title, where they're employed at, and what have you. So once we've entered all the essential information, we're just going to go up here and click the Save button. And we'll get a confirmation that our patient has been added, and as always you'll get a prompt asking you if you want to add the patient's insurance detail. So for this demonstration we're going to say no, and you are given the opportunity at this point to schedule the patient an appointment. So if we don't want to schedule the patient appointment, we can just ignore this and move on to the next screen, which I want to discuss is the Open Edit. So we're going to click on this tab, and if you need to make a change to a patient, it could be whether they change their address, their phone number, email address, and there's a few other options down here as well that you'll see across the bottom. So any change to a patient's file are done through the Open Edit tab. So let's just pull up a patient, select the patient, hit OK, and as you can see it pulls in the patient's current data, and we can just scroll through, and if we need to make any changes we can do so from here. Keep in mind, to make changes you're going to click the Edit button and then make your change, and then click the Save, and we'll get a message that the record has been successfully updated. Okay, next we're going to discuss how to attach documents to your patient's electronic file. Keep in mind that SOAPe Platinum Plus has paperless office capabilities. In order to take advantage of these, you're going to need to have a scanner. So assuming that you have a scanner connected to your computer already, we're just going to click the we've pulled up the patient already, and we're going to click the Attach File button. Once again, we'll have to pull them up here, hit OK, and we have two options on this screen. We can import a document that's already been stored on our computer just by hitting the Browse button. It'll allow us to browse to find that file, or we can scan in a document. So we're going to choose to scan a document in at this point. So first you want to name the document. And you're going to hit the Scan button. It's going to ask you to select a scanner if you have more than one. and you'll get a scan dialog at this point. And you'll see a preview of the document that you've just imported into the patient's electronic file in this little window here. And you can continue to scan documents in. If there's more than one page, you would just simply hit the scan file button again and they would keep importing. So we're going to just keep this one file, and then we're going to hit this attach to patient's record button. And now that document has been attached to the patient's electronic medical record. Now, if you wanted to view that document that we just scanned in, we would go to the Medical Records tab, and we would just pull up the patient, and you can see there's a search option down here to, if you're looking for specific documents or types of reports, you can specify what you're looking for. We can search by first name, last name, date of birth, or social security number, and we can also search by date. So we'll put this in here, and as you can see, there's only one document at present associated with this patient, and it's an attachment that we had scanned in. If we double click this, it's going to open up the document, and from there we could print it or whatever we needed to do. We're going to close this out and come back to the patient tab. The next tab is the insurance tab. We're going to click on that, and once again, if you want to enter insurance information for your patient, this is the area to do so. Just simply select the patient, and you can add the general information, insured party, anything you need to. You can add additional notes about the patient in here, and we'll cover that more in detail in the insurance video lesson. And finally, on this tab, you'll see Referral Management. We're going to click on that right now, and this helps you to manage that referrals that have been sent from another provider, maybe an MD or even another chiropractor. So we can just click on the patient's name, and it's going to ask you for the referring provider, and we've already got one entered. You could actually add additional referring providers if there's doctors in the area that you commonly work with. This is where you would enter them, and there's only a few items here that are essential. It's the items that have an asterisk. So we're just going to enter the essential data, the from, and let's say they've been approved for a month's worth of care. And you can even define how many visits are allowed with the referral. You know, we'll give the patient 10 visits. And any comments we need to add, we would do so here. And this is nice because if you have a patient that's been referred to you and they've only been approved for 10 visits, the system will actually calculate the visits used for you. So you can actually track these and it'll give you a reminder. All right, so that's Referral Management. And of course, you would just hit the Save button up here, and that would attach it to the patient's electronic file. Now, there's one additional item here that I forgot to mention, and that's the Add New Case button. And we did cover this briefly under the Scheduling tab. This tab right here is basically for a patient, let's say, who was being seen in your office for maybe a motor vehicle accident, and 2 or 3 weeks later was involved in a work-related accident. So now you actually have 2 separate cases for the same patient, and this is the actual tab that you would use to add additional cases for a patient. So we would just select the patient, and actually we'll select one of these patients that actually have a case type associated with them already. And it pulls in the patient's demographic information including their contact information, automatically for you. And you would just set the date of onset as a different date, I guess the new date of onset, and we would hit the save button. And you'll get a confirmation. And once again, as always, do you want to add the patient's insurance detail? We're going to say no for this demonstration. And now when we go into Open Edit and we select a patient, you're going to notice there's two cases listed here for the patient. And that's because we added a second case for this patient. And that's basically how that works. So this will conclude the lesson on patient management. Next we'll be covering the patient exams, the SOAPe notes, outcome assessments, and notes and letters tabs.